You won't believe it. Who am I kidding? You're of course gonna believe it. Randy, non-stop loser. Real fans will find a way to get $80. Pitchford does it again. That's right.
If you guys missed it, Randy Pitchford has decided to put his foot in his mouth again, which is something that he does quite often. He's made comments about how Borderlands, being $80, real gamers will figure out a way, all that kind of nonsense that we've covered over the last couple of weeks prior to the release of this game. But Randy Pitchford, we all thought that he would be quiet after a while. We all thought that at this point, what more could Randy Pitchford possibly say that would get him, promotion or something along those lines with Borderlands 4, at least in a positive way, instead of with the negative press? Well, apparently that's not the case anymore. So PC Gamer has an article with a headline that reads Randy Pitchford makes people mad again by warning that Borderlands 4 will take even longer to get deep discounts than Borderlands 3 did. So
So this is very interesting because one of the things that people are often commenting in my videos about the Borderlands 4 discussion, when I'm not making fun of the completely brain damaged super fans, which I will make soon yet again. I'm gonna coalesce the comments also from this. We're gonna probably have a folder where it's gonna be a picture folder, and then we're gonna go through them, and it's gonna be funny because I mean the Super Borderlands fanboys are complete morons, obviously, but this is something that a lot of people have been telling me, "Oh, I'm gonna buy Borderlands 4, but I'm waiting for the discount." I actually missed one great comment previously when we were talking about this, and there was a guy saying, "I own all of the Borderlands franchise, and I have spent a combined total of $10 acquiring them because I always waited for a discount." And that's a lot of people's opinion. They want to kind of play Borderlands 4, but it's probably going to be complete shit, obviously. The gameplay looks bad, the AI looks autistic, and well, the main characters are complete walking monstrosities of gender identities at best, okay? And the storyline and the main villain is cartoonishly autistic also. Makes sense. And well, the story by itself is kind of really stupid. Look at my channel for Borderlands 4 and you're gonna see everything we know about the story just looks horrible. It's the most shallow, boring thing ever made. It looks like it looks so basic. Your average basic a B doesn't even know how to deal with that. Okay, it's that bad. And a lot of people are saying that they're gonna only buy Borderlands 4 when there's a discount, and it seems that's a super prevalent opinion amongst people who kind of want to buy Borderlands 4. They're gonna wait for a discount.
So it's bad enough that Randy Pitchford decided that it was in his best interest to make this entire story, which, by the way, this is the person, I want to be very clear about the irony and the hypocrisy here. This is the person that claims they knew absolutely nothing about the price of Borderlands 4 and claimed that he had no control and no knowledge over whether or not Borderlands 4 was.
Control we can forgive. That's a semi-actual statement. But the fact that he didn't, oh, that is lies. That is lies.
Going to be $80 or $70. But now, the same person that has no knowledge or no control over the price of the game all of a sudden knows when the game is going to magically be on sale, which means that he knows the control over the price. It's just the oxymoron's insane to me at this point. But again, this is a story that he wanted people to believe when he was getting backlash over the $80 price point nonsense. And I firmly believe that it was all BS, by the way. I think he absolutely knew that the game was going to be
Of course.
$80 and he didn't want to tell anybody. And they decided to lower it to 70 to seem like the heroes and then up the price of the DLC or something like that, or the collector's edition that doesn't even have the game in it, right? It's so ridiculous. But let's talk about this particular tweet that people are losing their minds over. So Borderlands 3 is 95% off on Steam right now, which we saw on the Steam summer sale and we completely ignored it, dropping it to $3. It's the lowest price
Base.
ever and one of the best deals in 2025. It's not. But anyway, and somehow that screamingly good price has turned into yet another opportunity for Gearbox boss Randy Pitchford to annoy Borderlands fans on social media. Now, you know what's so interesting to me is that I just
I love how Pitchford, by the way, does things. Okay, He's constantly self-assured and righteous about himself. He constantly thinks that he's in the right, and he constantly just has this smug aura of non-stop superiority. It's disgusting. But I love that at the same time when things don't go his way, and they typically never do, he instantaneously just goes on his knees, begs and fucking grovels with somehow the same goddamn smug attitude. When the Borderlands movie failed, for example, that guy was on his knees begging people to give it a shot because it's actually not that bad, guys. And yet he somehow still was like, oh, everyone should watch Borderlands. It's great. Pathetic. He's absolutely pathetic.
Just recently picked up Duke Nukem Forever. I mean, I've had it for a long time, but I started playing it again. That one also came from Gearbox, and I just find it so amazing to see the difference between Gearbox of then and Gearbox of today, right? And what they're putting out there. Because anybody who's played Duke Nukem Forever knows exactly what I'm talking about. How
It's
unbelievably
pretty
not
bad.
political correct that game actually is, and just to see the fall from grace that these companies have experienced over just a few years
Wait, Duke Nukem Forever is the newest Duke Nukem game, right? That one's pretty bad, but yes, it is politically completely incorrect.
is staggering to me. But in any case, sales like this and Borderlands 3 showing up on console subscription programs took over 5 years from the game's launch to happen. Pitchford wrote on X, take advantage when it's here. Now, they're trying to make it seem as if Borderlands 4, essentially what he's saying is Borderlands 4, oh, I'm sorry, Borderlands 3 and anything below that took over 5 years to get to this price point. So now he's trying to say that Borderlands 4 is going to take even more time to reach this price point. So they're trying to rely on Borderlands 4 for upwards of over 5 years before even getting close to the $3 price point, $5 price point, $10 price point.
Maybe people are just smart about this and they know that every single Dead on Arrival game does a discount very soon. I think Star Wars Outlaws even had a discount. Dragon Age Railguard discounted like literally week 2 it got discounted. Had a discount. Assassin's Creed Shadows free copies and I think it also had a discount. And all of these Dead on Arrival games just discount themselves really fast. And considering how unbelievably Dead on Arrival Borderlands 4 is going to be, I mean, 99% discount for month 2? Hell yeah, boys.
Number one, that showcases a massive amount of confidence in his game that he thinks that it's going to be so good that it's going to demand a high retail price for a very long time and not go on sale nowhere near what the games are on sale now for. That's number one. And number two, it does show that he does know certain things about pricing when it comes to the game, unlike what he said prior when he was getting drama and backlash for the $80 nonsense. He says, good advice. Borderlands 3 has been around since 2019, so there's a good chance you've already got it. But if you don't, hey, $3. Thank you, Randy, for bringing this to our attention. Yes, thank you. But did you bring attention to your spyware that the game is experiencing? I'm sure that's going to be a thing. But he could not.
Also, yeah, by the way, the Borderlands 3 and whatnot currently is on massive discount because they kind of implemented, and don't quote me on this, I'm not a PC guy. I think it's Black Magic. Um, it's pretty much, yeah, spyware. People are calling it spyware because it's just that bad.
Help himself and continue to set expectations. It will be even longer before this kind of thing happens in the next cycle with Borderlands 4. Now, in my opinion, and we're going to look at his tweet. In my opinion, he's saying this. Yeah, he is nuts. He's saying this because he wants people to think that they're going to have FOMO, right? He's trying to maximize on the fear of missing out by telling people, listen,
Wait, does Borderlands actually have a rainbow flag? Oh no, Jesus. That one company that couldn't resist still. Wow.
for those of you that wait for
I
sales,
mean, the flag honestly doesn't matter at all, in my opinion. It's the fact that even though, Microsoft didn't put the flag or whatnot, but they want to. It's still there in the heart. You can remove the flag, but you cannot remove the flag from the person.
for those of you that are actually smart consumers, for those of you trying to get the maximum amount for your dollar, yeah, you're going to be waiting a long time. You don't want to wait that long, do you? It took 5 years for us to get to this point that we're at right now. Do you really want to wait longer than that? No, you're going to want to go pick up the game right now for the low, low price of $70 base. Or if you want to get the super duper ultra deluxe edition, you'll pay damn near double that, right? He's trying to maximize on the FOMO because he knows that that is truly what drives sales, especially when it's a video game that has any form of multiplayer to it whatsoever. That is what he's hoping he can do with this statement. So he's trying to put it out there and get it out there in the masses and get it in your mind that the game is not going to go on massive sales for more than 5 years. And I don't believe that, because Borderlands, sure, it wasn't $3 up until just now, but the game has been like $7 before. The game has been $10 before. And that was only after about a year or two after release. The game has been on massive sale many times for many
Yep.
years. And that is how it got to the amount of units sold that it has. It hasn't done that at full price. It did it at the sale price. We covered this many times before
Exactly.
in previous streams and previous videos. So he does something like this to try to get you thinking that that's not going to be the case. Trust me, it will be the case. Borderlands will absolutely be 50% off after the first year, maybe even year and a half, and then it'll trickle its way to 75% plus over the next few years after that. But you're not going to have to wait more than 5 years to get the game. And keep in mind, too, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Borderlands has been offered for free on Epic Game Store before, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure Borderlands, multiple Borderlands have
Yeah, it was offered for free. It was also because of the spyware. Oh god.
been offered for free. Even Tina's Tiny Wonderland was offered for free. So
Ah, Tina's cringe shit. No one's playing that.
what are we really doing here at this point? Yeah, that's cheaper than $3. So you don't even have to wait for that. If you didn't want to wait for the $3 to get it on Steam, they gave it to you for free on Epic Games. Keep in mind too, look at the Borderlands main page. Look at the company we got going on here. You know, Gearbox. Look at Gearbox. Look at the icon we got here. Gearbox put their logo over the LGBTQ flag, the one with like all the symbols and shit on it. This is the kind of company we're dealing with here. This is the only company, or one of the few companies, that have had the rainbow flag in their icon for the entirety of Pride Month. Most of the companies have not even put the flag there, let alone had it for the entire month. Only a few of them have done it, and this is one of them. Gearbox is absolutely one of them. So let's read his entire
Yeah. Everything you have about the story. Again, the story looks so bad. We know barely anything, but if you actually look what is presented, it looks really bad. It really does look. It's the most generic thing ever. Again, there's no way the story is gonna be as lame as it can be.
tweet here. Randy Pitchford said sales like this in Borderlands 3 showing up on console subscription programs took over 5 years from the game's launch to happen. Take advantage when it's here. And to set expectations, it'll be even longer before this kind of thing happens in the next cycle with Borderlands 4. How do you know that? I thought you didn't know about pricing. I thought you didn't have any control over pricing. How do you know about any of this? To be fair, this person says, I think that's pretty innocuous too, and quite possibly accurate, unless Borderlands 4 bombs for some reason. And at this point, it seems unlikely.
PC gamer, everyone. Again, they literally made articles that Diablo 4 is better than Path of Exile 2. Diablo 4 is not even a game at this point.
PC Gamers Timer Wild spent a few hours playing a pre-release build in May and found it not transformative, but solidly consistent, which I think is what a lot of Borderlands fans want. No, Borderlands fans want it to go back to what Borderlands 1 and 2 were about, not what 3 ended up doing, and
Yep.
definitely not what Tiny Tina's Wonderland did. They wanted it to go back to what it used to be, which is going to take more than just solidly consistent. Let's
It's impossible. It is literally impossible with this crap.
just say. At the same time, while it's probably too much to describe Pitchford's message as a gently implied threat, there's a lot of residual sensitivity over Borderlands 4 pricing out there, courtesy of Pitchford's prior social media hoedown, in which he needlessly floated the specter of a potential $80 cost for the game that ultimately came to nothing, but not before a week of throwing hands with randos over it. Well, that was his fault, because that's
Good.
what he wanted to do. He knew what the price was going to be, and he was trying to drum up drama to look like the hero, right? It's all about the perception.
Randy Pitchford already looks like a failed, Saturday night host. Okay? It doesn't get a lot worse than that.
It's all about the actual narrative. If you can make the game, if you knew the
How many anti-Trump posts do you think Pitchford has done?
game was $70, but you could convince everybody it was 80, you'll cause all this drama, and then after a week when the price is revealed, you look like the hero because you're charging 70 in a world that's trying to make $80 a norm. That's the narrative that he was trying to go for. That's what he was trying to do with this entire story. It didn't work.
Dude, people were so... Listen, the absolute mouth breathers of the Borderlands franchise fan base were like, It didn't cost 80. Why are you saying 80? That's misinformation. It actually only cost $70. This game shouldn't cost more than fucking $5. This game should pay me to play it, okay? Not the other way goddamn around. And you're like, oh, it only got $70. Only $70. And then you're saying, how dare you say it costs it? Shut up. No one cares. Literally no one cares.
But that's what he was trying to do. So ultimately, Randy Pitchford continues to put his foot in his mouth, I should say. And at this point, we really can't expect anything less from Borderlands CEO. Gearbox as a whole, this company is such a joke. What they're doing with their games, unfortunately, is not that great. They're not what they used to be, as discussed earlier in the video. And
I am waiting so hard for the Borderlands 4 drop. I think it's gonna be great. I think I'm gonna farm it so hard. It's gonna be so bad. And there's gonna be so many loser Borderlands fans pissed, and I'm gonna love it.
I think that the game ultimately will just be a letdown for probably a lot of Borderlands fans. I'm still not sure if I'm going to end up reviewing this game at launch. It all depends what I have lined up. But this is not something that I'm really looking forward to as a Borderlands fan. I should say I used to be a Borderlands fan. After 3, I kind of checked out. Tiny Tina's I played for free, hated it, didn't play it after that. So this is basically one of those things where we kind of have to wait and see. But I think a lot of people know what the truth of this game is going to be. And I don't think it's going to be a bomb. I just don't think it's going to be as strong as 3 was when it first came out from the hype of 2.
I mean, listen, when I say Borderlands is dead on arrival, I mean it's gonna get like 50 to 100k maybe concurrent players on Steam, but that's gonna be it. That's a disaster. Okay, people when Borderlands 4 hits the market and it hits Steam, it's probably gonna have a number big enough, whatever the fuck it ends up being. Honestly, I'm not even confident in my 50 to 100 prediction. It could easily be 25. Okay, I don't think it's gonna exceed 100k no matter what. Like if it does, I'm honestly gonna be surprised. But I don't think it's gonna also be lower than 15k. Okay, I think the range from 15 to 100k is not really a good prediction because it's super fucking vague, and I don't feel good about saying something as vague as that. But I think that's gonna be probably pretty good. And we're gonna have the typical shabble babble of, oh, look at this, there's so many players, that's an absolute success. And then, 3 months later, Borderlands 4 was a major blow to No One Cares Studio because it flopped so hard. And then there's gonna be people still saying, oh no, it was still a success. It didn't make any sales, it didn't make any headlines, it didn't make any new fans. People hated it, it didn't make any money, but it was a success. It's gonna be the typical situation here, right? Anyway, that was Hypnotic. What the hell is that avatar though? Damn! Anyway, have a nice day. Bye-bye.